There we go.
The bands. Whoa.
Hang on. I do believe you sent them to me.
Yeah.
Uh, Sent them at 412. Sound about right?
411.
Yeah. Good. So, Root did bring home the victory on that one.
So it's gonna be game two.
Here we go.
Game
Yeah.
two. Who's gonna win the HiRez Weekly NA Tournament number 2?
So the
Root.
first band that we saw coming out, I fairly expected nothing too out of the ordinary. Snipe banning out Odin.
Oh yeah, Odin Strong. We all know it. We'll talk about it every week, every single week.
Sobek being banned out by Root. And here's the game changer for these bands right here. Ready, everyone? Don't get too close to the edge of your seat when I put this up, but Thorban coming out from Snipe. Yeah, I didn't see it coming in the slightest.
No one could. I mean, they're playing off a new meta. A meta. It's a new meta.
It's a Numeda.
It's a new meta.
Game changer here too from Root. That Bacchus ban though. This is a separate game. This is actually round two.
Yep.
Not gonna be repeating this.
And I
Although,
am in.
no memento, poor flavor. Go ahead and pause that as I get our picks and bans posted up here.
Yes.
So first band coming
I
out.
do play guitar.
Yeah, it really is getting old. She is in my pants. I would agree, and I do love your name. I can't believe I said that with a straight face as I read it. I was trying not to.
There's no way around that one. There's no way around when she is in my pants. That's a clever name. I like it. You get a thumbs up.
So first pick coming out from Snipe was Apollo. First and second pick coming out from Root, Neath and Hebo. So they're liking Neath this week. It's looking like. I mean, she's strong. I just proved that in a joust.
And the Snipe for what Snipe did to Curse. I mean, you
Yeah.
definitely want that.
Second and third pick coming out from Snipe, Freya and Hades. Okay, reasonable, all reasonable. I'm surprised that they let Apollo in this match.
Considering how strong he is, I apologize. He Apollo's really just finding his way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that boy has so much potential for so many things. I think he's a really solid god. I'm really glad that, we're seeing him more and more and more and more now.
So next we saw second or third and fourth, Guan Yu Ra being picked up by Root. Okay, that's reasonable. Last two pickups coming out from Snipe were Agni and Ymir. So I'm interested to see how they're gonna play these the comp that they've got going for these guys. Sorry about that. Fixing the small typo there. I'm interested to see how they're gonna run the comp for those gods.
Yeah, true. True.
And making his second showing in this tournament after a few weeks of being kind of MIA, we see Hercules getting picked up by Snipe. Or no, I'm sorry, not Snipe, Root.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Snipe has a really scary team comp, to be honest.
Snipe's got a scary one, but Root's just as intimidating right now. That
Don't get me
Hebo, the
wrong.
Neath, yeah. So let's go ahead. We've got our picks and bans. We know where this is going to go.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it.
Why is Ymir not being picked up first anymore? His freeze is hard, but he's easy to counter in the end. I mean, he's one of those guys that you can focus down pretty effectively. He's still a very strong pick, and he's great in pugs, but he lacks utility endgame as a tank other than soaking up damage in that freeze. But once he blows his freeze, he's on cooldown with no
We got
mobility.
4 members of Snipe looking over here for a possible huge gank.
They
And
are
all 5 members of
playing
Snipe
the
buy that
steal
red
meta.
too. Look at that red. Look, look, look. There's something about to happen. We're gonna have a showdown going off, I think.
I think both teams were looking to invade this game like, oh my god.
You know, we're seeing all 5 members of Root. You know, Hades kind of off by that tier 1 tower. Just like, I think that right there, McStealth could be a really key player to that. Now, is going to get picked up by Neath, who is walking over. So we might see a little bit of resetting. So Root kind of doing that. And we are seeing as well Snipe
One of the
disengaging. So.
weirdest things I've ever witnessed in a ranked match, or not ranked, but competitive match. I mean, they had that stare down. They had a moment of what is going on here, and then they
Level 1
disengaged.
team fight.
Surprised. Maybe they did it last game, and that was Root's defense against it.
That could be.
Builds that we're looking at, Ra is the one that I'm interested in. That Heavenly Agility, increased healing. 25% buffed up healing. Interesting play. It'll be strong in team fights.
Oh, yeah. Only able to start with that Marcus Vanguard as well. Just, you know, pretty sure we won't see that really done until 17, 18 minutes, so. Really just depends on how he's going to build that, but definitely going to be very crucial, I think, later on.
Agni already a little bit behind in the farm. Lass on Hebo doing a good job to really slow him down.
Make my screen smaller.
Root did, in fact, win the first game. We, unfortunately, were unable to actually cast that one as the spectate servers crashed. Root already doing work to this middle tower. Ra and Hercules, I don't want to say they're just getting in lane, but they're definitely looking to interrupt something here as Apollo and Ymir pick up this cooldown buff. Looks like Guan Yu taking a very large amount of damage will be rooted, or no, the Neath root came out, was unable to save him as the Freya secures the kill with her pulse. Freya took a very large amount of damage. They were almost getting picked off by the Neath. Neath wanted to back out, didn't want to risk giving the Hades a kill as she was getting focus fired. He would have been able to soak up a lot of that damage and possibly secure a kill. Hebo and Agni trading blows over here in this middle lane. A lot of focus fire coming out from the Hebo as he tries to bait a fight out here, I think is what he's aiming for. Noxious fumes coming out from the Agni interrupted that back, and he will go ahead and continue to fight. Agni gonna land that wall of flame, landing the dot tick too, doing some big damage to pull Lasses down to about where he is with health. They both hit level 5. One meteor will come out from the Agni onto the Hebo. Hebo gonna use that flood waters to try and get out of there in one piece. Freya and Hades now starting to push up, get aggressive. It's looking like we've got Hades level 5, Freya level 4, and in reverse, the carry for Root being level 5 with the support being level 4. So that's one trade up that could really, really be devastating in the long run here. So they need that Freya to hit level 5 very soon. In our other side lane, Hercules only at level 4 right now. Ra just now pinging up to that level 5. Ymir level 5, so is Apollo. So we will see the Ra ult landing onto Apollo. Apollo now being forced to back off before he is fully able to recall. Hebo getting low on health over here in mid. Agni really putting some pressure on him, starting to push up towards this tower. And it looks like we do in fact have a fight coming out here. I'm going to rewind this a bit so we can catch the action. But as the Ra ulted, we did see the Neath ult coming out onto the Apollo. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a mistake of mine. That was from the rewind, a visual glitch. So Apollo decides to stay in lane. Ymir going to go ahead and drop down into his ult, baiting out a fight here. Apollo going to pop his ultimate just in time to escape, as the Neath ult will follow him. He must get back to the fountain if he wants to live. He will get picked off by that Neath ult. Zapman getting the first kill in the works for Root right there, so much needed play by Zap. Neath also managed to do so without taking any damage at all. So they had that one very, very effectively lined up. Apollo got very risky and took a very large amount of damage.
So all these lanes kind of reset a little bit. That Tier 1 center tower taking a little bit of damage. You know, thank you everyone for tuning in with us today so far. We are catching the finals of the HiRez Any Tournament number 2. This is, of course, Root versus Snipe Gaming. That game 2, Root taking that first game. So it all comes down to this right now. If Snipe isn't able to answer back, Root's going to take home yet another victory. Just further making it the reason why they're just kind of number 1 right now in a lot of people's eyes.
With the various change-ups this week, I would have really loved to see the current Curse roster playing these guys, but I was just as happy to see Snipe playing against them. I've been excited to watch kind of the change-ups. Some of the picks and bans have been a little strange this week. We saw Ra coming back into the competitive scene after God knows how long, ever since he had that nerf.
And then a little buff, like they've been giving him a little love. He's like a Cupid. He's, you know what I mean, like just a little buff here and there. You know, they're trying to make him just a little bit more competitive. You know, changing Ra, not letting him have that double hit on his beam has really, you know, nerfed him a lot, but made him more supporting. I mean, they've totally changed what his role really can be. A little bit of poking back and forth in the center lane, but nothing really too crazy.
Taking a look at this Apollo, really exciting to see him making it in finally. That buff was very strong for him, to say the least, and it's been helpful. Neath seemed to be the big counter to it, though, as it really does slow down the Apollo's ability to abuse his ult for free escapes.
Neath pulling out her ult, gonna pop it. Where is it going? On to that Agni. It's gonna be enough to land that down, so that's gonna be 2-1 in favor of Root. Man, that Neath ult, just so OP.
Definitely strong and great for securing kills. Don't want to let anyone get away in those fights.
Oh yeah, great initiation, you know what I mean? Hercules is able to pull both Ymir and Apollo to the freeze. On Ymir is going to come out, and the Raw 3 is going to be doing a little bit of damage. The wall is going to come out from Ymir, but trap himself in, and the Hercules baseball coming out, doing quite a bit of damage onto Apollo. Apollo's going to be able to get around that wall that just popped. Heaven Agility coming out as well. Another pull from Hercules, and a number 1 is going to push Ymir back, making him run back as well, and the beam did hit him, and Hercules will secure that kill as Guan Yu is rotating over. Apollo had to back very, very low. They're going to start pushing this tower for sure, doing a little bit of damage, but Hades starting to rotate over, might be able to push him back here.
Very quick rotation from that Guan Yu will give them that third man to really even up this fight and give them the advantage here. You're going to go ahead and start tanking this tower and try and secure a couple kills.
Apollo came in through his ult. Guan Yu gonna pop his ult to where the move's gonna come out to get the silence and the stun away from Apollo. Trying to do some auto attack. Hades is gonna use death from below. Get caught from that Raw 3, doing quite a bit of damage. Brought him down to barely nothing. So that was really, really close on the Hades. He's gonna have to back to get out of there. And Neath will pick up Freya over on that left lane. Tons of work being done right now by Root. I thought Snipe had a scary comp, man, but Root is really laying it down right now.
They're using the Neath very effectively to counter out the Apollo, which is kind of that thing that Xing has made fearsome in this game. He has been showing everyone in the competitive scene that Apollo is viable, and with that buff up, I expected nothing more than to see a very aggressive Apollo play coming out from him into the competitive matches. And so Neath has been kind of the team's answer to a strong Apollo. They said, look, you can try and escape with your ult, but we'll just keep you down if you're going to use it like that. So he can't risk getting low on health, or Neath will just pick him off like it's nothing.
Yep.
The thing that I've been excited to see is the return of Hebo into competitive play. He was out for a while. A couple buffs was more than enough to get him in, though.
Oh yeah, that one really good buff to his passive for the magic power,
Yeah.
and now that beads, you know what I mean, so strong, especially for Hebo. I think it's just a great way to get him back in there.
Ymir Blink Freeze will catch the Hercules. Hercules going to back out, take a decent amount of damage from the Apollo. Apollo using his harp to get some damage out there, as Hercules is now forced to run in circles almost. We did see Ymir getting picked off in that fight. Up into the air goes the Apollo. Apollo will strum on that harp just in time to secure the kill onto Hebo, putting it now at 2 and 6 in favor of Root, 21 to 19k, and we will see them starting to focus down some buffs. Hercules almost got picked up there. Agni quickly tried to rotate over and take that kill. However, the crushing waters from Hebo was able to secure it. So big plays coming out as the counter ganks.
Again, you know, and that Neithel yet again being such a great little thing right there, was able to secure the kill onto that Ymir. Freya ult up in the middle. Guan Yu will heal them off. Hades into his ult as well. Neith will back through the tail of assault coming out from Guan. They're trying to get through. They got Silence and Fear. Guan pretty low. Banish coming out from Freya, but will miss. The 3 onto Hades will heal up a little bit. Freya trying to get a little bit of attack. They're going to kind of back off of this as Ymir does come back in the lane. Guan Yu is going to retreat to that beautiful home base. Agni now doing a little bit of work with those meteors. And the heal coming out from Neith going to get her all the way back to 100%. So, I mean, Root just really super strong right now. Super scary.
The Raw play, if you've noticed, he's been timing the Heavenly Agility with healing up his team. And in team fights towards Gold Fury, I think that's going to be a very large play on his part. We've seen a strong heal coming out if you combine that with the Aphrodite heal. But I don't think it's going to be able to measure up to how strong the heal from Ra is simply because of the AoE.
And that's very true, Legnir. That seems to be a meta that a lot of teams do use.
I would agree that it is a strong meta. We've seen double 80 carries kind of fall flat simply because it's so easy to counter out with Hyde as of now and how cheap Hyde is. The only thing I could honestly think to, like, change up the meta may be rather than a bruiser, a DPS mage in left.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh,
Neith
yeah.
rotating up behind this Hades, gonna drop a weave near the blue buff, so they're compensating aggressive warding with weave usage, and that is kind of their solution to save some money with how expensive wards have become.
Oh, yeah. Kind of lanes now resetting that full 100% reset. Everyone back in lane doing their duty. Hercules going to miss his pull over there in the right lane as Apollo does kind of just hype around that. Very beautiful. Able to land one auto attack for 165 on that crit, so doing a little bit of damage. So Herc's going to back off of this.
In left lane, we saw a banish coming out from Freya, perfectly stopping the Neith ult that was aimed straight at the other lane. Freya ult will save the Freya from Guan Yu's Tactician's advantage as Neith starts to press up against this tower.
Definitely that damage is starting to come out. Hades doing what he can to keep those minions back. They're going to start doing some auto attack damage for sure. Trying to also kite in front of that. Yeah, was able to land the root there. The Tower of Assault is going to come out, and the Hades ult coming through as well. And you
Blink
see the
Hebo to secure the kill! Wow.
Through.
Major props to that very exciting play. He ran straight in. He got picked up by the ward. They probably thought he was silly for going into the mana, and he went straight through that wall to secure that kill.
Man, that was just beautiful. Freya now back in lane, going to use her pulse to try and do as much damage to get rid of those minions. They're probably going to be able to take us down. Yep, there it will fall. That is that tier 1 tower on the left side of your mini-map. Will now fall. Freya missed her banish, and it looks like Guan Yu and Neith may back out of this a little bit. Yep, Guan Yu is going to back to that home base. But, yeah, I mean, Root really doing work right now. 4K up, about 7-2. 13 minutes into this game. I mean, we're looking like we might even see an early, like, Gold Fury, to be honest.
I could see that being in the near foreseeable future. Aggressive ward coming out from Hebo to cover up their attack buff, and he's actually going to go ahead and take his own attack buff now while he waits. So clearly trying to bait something out for them to go to their red.
Root starts to move back into lane. Guan Yu over there by that red with Hero. Looks like they might be rotating into this mid. Hades and Freya starting to take care of this red as well. Neath popped into her ult, but where's it going? Looks like they might try and invade this red right here. Hades going to get a 2 off, and the ult is going to go on to Hades. Rock's going to pop it through, trying to do a little bit of attack damage, and Hades will use Death from Below to get out of that sticky situation. Now, Freya is a little... She might be alright. She did get a banish, was able to pick up that red, but it's not going to really do any much, just delay Root from picking that up. Gonna back off of this fight. Hades and Ymir starting to rotate in, and you do see Root starting that Gold Fury, so it's beautiful and right. You gotta love being right.
Raw Snipe coming out, trying to stall as much of the team as possible. Hog will come out from Root to secure that beautiful driving strike from the Hercules to dodge an Agni Meteor. Put him in danger, but it was effective enough that he was able to dodge the damage, and they went ahead and backed off, so Snipe gonna let this one reset. And that was the earliest Gold Fury we have seen today, 14 minutes into this match. It's now 2-7 in favor of Root. They're up by now 4K, so just maintaining that gold with that Gold Fury.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you know, that tier 1 tower on the right side for Snipe as well, only sitting at about 25-30%. So, you know, it's definitely going to probably, I would think, their next major objective that they're going to start focusing on. You might see a nice three-man game, like a third person kind of rotate over just to kind of push out Ymir and Apollo, see if they can get that down, because that's only going to help their gold lead for sure. Hercules and Ross starting on that blue buff. Apollo and Ymir both back into that home base. Item-wise, you know, Gemma ISO coming out on Hebrew, love it. That blink, though, just, oh my god. Was not
so exciting.
I love it.
Yeah. The Ymir actually tried to initiate something. He blinked. He missed his freeze. They went ahead and backed off and let the Ra and Hercules have that blue buff.
Right. Kind of just seeing lanes reset. So I want to thank you all for hanging out with us today. Just a reminder, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes after the tournament's over, we're going to be going live with Into the Fountain. Today's special guest, you guessed it, the best on Smite, #1 mid player. Really, really good, solid. You know what I mean? He was getting hit hard today, but he's going to have some good info. And always, you have Juice Dan and myself and Shadow Q just doing what we do, making you laugh, bringing you the news. You're going to use his wall in the middle lane, going to miss his freeze as Batman trying to get this much damage onto this tower. He's going to back off. Looks like a little chase may ensue. Hades trying to see if he can catch his Neath. Neath's going to root right into place with the silence and the fear. Guan Yu's going to use his dash and the toe of his sword, starting to do a little bit DPS. The Ice Shard's coming up from Ymir, but will miss Neath. Frey going to come in with that pulse, kind of zone them out and miss the banish as well. Kind of see them rotating over this tier 2 tower in the left lane. Guan Yu's going to pop a heal there. Got it. They definitely need to wait for that next wave, but Agni's going to start pushing them. Afraid going to go into her ult, trying to do a little bit of damage. The noxious fumes and the dash from Guan Yu coming on to Freya and the Tower of Assault. That tier 1 center tower is finally going to fall from Zatman. Zatman just such a very good split pusher. They're going to start backing off of this fight as well.
One thing I will point out is that we did see a very strong dive. Hercules Boulder was able to bring Apollo down to a hit of his life. Apollo almost made it out of there, but the Hebo Spout was able to secure that kill.
He's very, very good. Definitely maybe one of the shortest tournaments we've done in a long time.
I would agree. It's surprising to see the day going as it is. 17 minutes in, now 2-8 in favor of Root with a 7K gold lead. It's been a while since I've seen these two teams have such an aggressive match. I mean, in past, it's been 30 minutes of literally no kills, maybe one, and then massive plays at the end. And now this, we're 17 minutes in, 10 kills.
Oh, yeah, and we know it has a lot to do with, you know, the ability tiers now. You know what I mean? Making them not as strong that, you know, Aegis and Beads not doing as much as they normally would for 250 is definitely a big difference. You know, that 0.5 seconds is quite a bit of damage early game.
Hey Al, how's it going? The spectate servers were in fact down for the first match, so we know that Root won, and they had some interesting plays. They had a Ra supporting an Odin Bruiser, which was exciting to see. This is now them trying out, I guess, the Ra with the Hercules lane instead to see if that's any better. Ult coming out from underneath onto the Freya. Ult from the Ra. We will see the Banish coming out as the Hebo uses his crushing wave to secure that kill. They threw 4 ults into that Freya, so they clearly wanted her dead.
Ra beam. Hades can use his Death Blow, get out. Agni caught a little bit with that girdle on Mike, but he's going to use his Flame Dash to get out of a very sticky situation. Now you can't see 4 members of Root starting to rotate back. And, you know, Zapman. You know why you haven't seen Zapman this whole game? Because he's just been pushing towers this whole entire game, for at least for the last 5-6 minutes. The man has just been doing whatever he can to get down objectives.
He's got the ability to ult from across the map, so it is a very, very powerful play by him to be able to split push towers, Neath being one of the strongest gods in the game for just that.
That tier 2 tower in the middle will lane. That leaves 2 towers remaining on the Snipe side. Those 3 Phoenix and that beautiful Minotaur man. I'm thinking we're definitely going to probably see a Fire Giant push here sooner than later. You know what I mean? They, I think not Snipe, but Root knows they have right now that team push that they can do. So why not force a fight in front of Fire Giant, maybe knock a few Snipe members out, get Fire Giant, be able to do the remaining push of what you got to do, and just do work. But, you know, one thing I want to notice is Apollo on that far right side was able to push not only the tier 1 tower, that tier 2, but able to the Phoenix as well.
Very true. I would speculate that we will probably see these teams looking at a Fire Giant around the 24-minute mark, unless a big team fight breaks out around this Gold Fury here in just a moment, in which case I would speculate maybe somewhere around the probably 22 to 24-minute mark.
That's what I was thinking. If a really good team fight happens here, they'll have no choice but to rotate over to Fire Giant.
So Gold Fury now at about half health. I'm going to slow this down as this team fight starts to brew. Just taking a look, Hercules doing big damage. We will see that counter word coming out as Hades pops Girdle and blinks in. Hades going to use his Shroud of Darkness to fear them as Ymir blinks into that fight too. He will miss his Hog to secure the Gold Fury as it resets. Hercules Boulder will come out doing a very large amount of damage. Ult from underneath will secure the kill onto the Ymir as Apollo uses his Across the Sky looking for an initiate. Agni stuns the Hebo with his Noxious Fumes. We will see Apollo gliding in as Guan Yu takes a large amount of damage, will miss the kill onto the Freya. Freya taking a lot of damage and will get picked up by the Ra's heal. Mesmerize coming out from the Serenade on Apollo. Apollo landing 2 auto attacks will not be enough to secure the kill. The Surrender Rope comes out as we see a double kill and a deicide from the Ra, and that will be it. We see Apollo getting picked off. 2 kills for Snipe, 14 for Root, and we do see Root picking up the victory with that surrender vote.
Woo! I mean,
wow.
You know, we knew a team fight was a brewing. Root could, you know, it was on their terms. I would have loved to have seen the Fire Giant fight, but Gold Fury just as good, and that's going to be enough to secure it. Root winning 2 weeks in a row. The HiRez NA tournament weekly. I mean, they're doing work. They're a very strong team. Very, very. The Minotaur had a heart attack.
I have chills after that match. That was intense. I do want to quickly point out a couple things. One, had they given that Gold Fury, I think 2 of them actually had the opportunity to split push down the tower. I think it could have been done. The big thing that if you noticed, or no, I'm sorry, not the tower, the Minotaur. If you had noticed during that fight, the Minotaur itself was down to roughly 2/3 of its health off creep damage alone from 1 Phoenix being down. So I think had we seen Apollo, and I don't want to say Freya because they didn't want to make it too obvious, but maybe Apollo and Hades, or Apollo and Ymir, not been there and been split pushing, I think they might have been able to really do enough damage to break up that Gold Fury fight and maybe make some crazy kind of change happen. However, with how fast that was over, I don't think it could have gone differently. They were grouped up and they were trying to win a team fight. And that was the right thing to do there. But just looking at the end and looking at an overview of that match, there were some interesting ways that could have gone.
You know, all I gotta say is Hebrew and Blink. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, really?
that was big plays.
Really? That was
Huge
huge. When
plays.
he came through blue, I didn't see him on the mini
I
map.
saw
It
him
was just
running in,
like
and I'm like, he's going to spout through the wall, and that'll probably miss because he can't line it up. And he blinked, and I was like, whoa.
like
Mind
seriously
blown.
Nightcrawler action right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Crazy, crazy awesome. Crazy awesome. Oh, player damage wise, I mean, I felt like Snipe just did not have the game they were looking for.
The interesting thing I wanted to look at was Shing's build. Rather than something for more damage, he went Kin's Blades. So he was trying to focus down those tanks more than anything. That was his primary goal. How do you feel about the Ra as support?
I love him. I'm not
I
gonna lie. I think Ra was really doing a lot of work
I
there,
think
and
that
was really able to like using the beam, especially in the jungle fights. If you notice that Root tried to always group stuff in that jungle, and it was perfect for Ra. Just to, you know what I mean? Like he was able to do a lot of damage there.
I would agree. I think the most surprising thing of all is that we haven't seen Ra coming out sooner into this tournament, and that was I was expecting him to be a lot earlier into all of this. Like I knew he was having high stats still after that nerf even. He was still
Because
performing
fatalities.
well. But they haven't touched him since that change. And people have finally put him into the support role and it fits for him, I would say.
Yeah.
Just looking, the big thing I want to see, how did that Heavenly Agility purchase work for them? Ra's
I don't
healing,
think he finished it off.
6K.
He
6K
didn't even
healing.
finish it off though.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing. Yeah,
Had
like
he
that.
finished it, that would
Yeah,
have been disgusting. He would have probably
really
hit 15 to 20K healing. Heavenly Agility, just for those of you who don't know, early game it is a very large speed buff. However, once you have it maxed out, it gives you 25% increased healing. The reverse of that creeping curse buff that came in that was 25% reduced or 50% reduced healing. So with how that just panned out, I am excited. I expect that in the coming week we'll see Ra being added into the list of viable tanks, and we're going to start seeing Ra a lot more frequently playing a similar role to that of Aphrodite.
As far as like people thinking it was a rage surrender, to be honest, Snipe wasn't. They knew that there was no way that they could come back from this. You know what I mean? With that deicide right there, it would have opened up Gold Fury. It would have then opened up Fire Giant, and like you know what I mean. There's just really like the level difference overall. There's just no coming back from that. There's
I would
just really
agree.
no coming back from that. And I do agree, D's. We need a bot command for the brackets, which we'll have next week.
In
We
before
will
it's
have
next week.
in before next week.
Yes.
Soon.
So, what time is it?
Man, it is
I'm looking at
4:40.